Hi guys, it's Will and welcome to another video. Bit of a different video here today. I'm actually going to do a bit to camera here. First things first, I just want to apologise for not having uploaded content recently. Thank you very much for everyone who has stuck with the channel. I do appreciate that. Things have just been getting in the way with life. I'm sure you guys can understand it's very difficult to balance a work-life, relationship and do YouTube content on top of that, especially if you're a small channel. I'm very happy to say that I've got a couple of videos coming up soon now. I'm going to start putting out some more content on the channel, hoping to get back into this a little bit. Don't know how frequently I'm going to be able to get it back up, constantly, but with a bit of luck I should be able to do a fair bit now. But yeah guys, I just sort of wanted to have a chat as well with you today about something that I've sort of been thinking about for a while, and that is the whole sort of debate that's going on between, changes and no changes. And obviously there's one side of the vanilla community that feels very strongly about changes in terms of things like graphics, updates to abilities, etc. Everything that takes away from that vanilla essence that we originally had. And that's obviously something that Blizzard's gonna decide on, their own grounds. They're obviously taking feedback from the community, but at the end of the day they're gonna do what they feel is right. And something that I sort of wanted to have a chat about here as well is that even if we do get everything that we want in terms of keeping it the same, not having arenas, no graphical updates, all the rest of it, etc., it's still not going to completely ever be the same. It will never be what it was like back in vanilla. And something that I was thinking about a lot here, in regards to that, is obviously that, back then, back in the early 2000s, etc., the world was a different place, and the internet especially was very, very different compared to now. Thinking about this logically, when you play vanilla now, you know everything. You know most of the classes, most of the boss fights, most of the abilities. You have a very strong, healthy understanding of how to play vanilla World of Warcraft. People coming in for the very first time, granted, they're not going to know very much. But at the same time, it's not going to be hard to find out. Back then, does anybody remember Thoughtbot, for example, right? Or, the very first YouTube videos covering World of Warcraft. There was not that much information out there. People really had to do a lot of research on how to do different things, how to, do things like farm gold, learn abilities, what kind of weapons your class would need to use, the stats that you should prioritize, etc. We all know those things now. And even people coming in, they're going to have a really strong understanding of that. They're going to be able to find out really quickly. I bet you a brand new player coming into vanilla World of Warcraft now wouldn't take them 10 minutes. 10 minutes to get a good understanding of how to level up, how to do everything that they need to do to progress to endgame as quickly and efficiently as possible. And in a way, YouTube is partly to blame for that. People like me, I guess you'd say, who make content for an audience. I have lots of videos on how to level up or farm gold efficiently, etc. And there's a wealth of that kind of content out there now. And I'm not saying we should stop by any means. I love making content. I love making videos for you guys about World of Warcraft and, sharing my thoughts, ideas, tips, tricks, etc. But at the same time, it sort of takes away and defeats the mystery behind it all. And that's something that I don't think we're ever going to get back. And it is a shame, because I remember, when I was a kid playing World of Warcraft, I would go home and I would log on and there would be so much more to explore, so many new things I didn't understand. And that sort of nostalgia is something that we see quite a lot of still, and we still get to experience from time to time if we ever sort of find part of the world that we've never explored or experienced, etc. But at the same time, we've pretty much been everywhere, and that sort of thing is never going to come back. And I think it's a shame, but I think that's something that, people saying, oh, it should be just like it was back then. There's a couple of things in regards to that we're never going to see, and that's one of them. The fact that it's never going to have that same mystique or mystery, or the fact that you could be the first person to experience something new, and you would be one of a handful of people who knew how to do a certain boss fight right, and that sort of thing is never really gonna manifest itself in the game anymore, because it's all been done. And I don't see Blizzard making new content for vanilla either. I think if we do get vanilla World of Warcraft, even if it is, you know, in its pristine original form with the old graphics and the old boss fights and the old abilities, I don't think we're going to get new content. I just don't think so, because, you know, the team over at Blizzard, they're very adamant that they're not about to go and start running 2 different MMOs. This is much more of a restoration project than it is a new build, a construction project, if you like. This is about restoring something that used to exist. It's not about building something new. And the other thing as well that's going to be very different with this, and this is sort of coming on to what I've just said there in regards to it being a restoration project and not something new, you're going to have the issue of Battle.net integration. And this is something that I think is actually more difficult than restoring the servers, etc. It's the Battle.net integration and the fact that people now, we're playing on better computers. We're playing on newer hardware, and the old hardware that was used to run the original version of the game is obviously not something that's going to be so compatible now with the kind of equipment we use. When I say equipment, you know, I'm talking about laptops, computers, etc. People are going to be playing on much better computers, much better pieces of hardware, and they're not about to go out and sort of change all of that. Blizzard need to conform vanilla to modern standards in terms of hardware, etc, etc. So you've got the Battle.net integration and you've also got the hardware integration, and I think that is going to cause the game to be completely different. We're not, you know, and this sort of, where I'm going with this really is the fact that when I logged on back in the early 2000s, used to play Alliance, don't hold it against me, I would go into Ironforge on my Dwarf and it would lag. It would lag really hard. I was on a Windows XP dial-up internet, and you know, I was on low settings, and it was a struggle to get to the auction house, a real struggle. And peak times, forget it. Forget Stormwind, forget Ironforge, wasn't going to happen. I had to go in on off-peak times, and all of that now is something that I'm never going to have to put up with or experience again, because my hardware's better, my internet's better, the servers on the game are going to be better. They wouldn't give us those old kind of servers because people aren't going to want that. People aren't going to hang about for that. And yes, I love vanilla. I really enjoy vanilla World of Warcraft, but I just don't see it happening. I really don't. And I don't think Blizzard would even be considering using old systems to try and facilitate that. And something as well here is you've got to sort of think about the fact that Blizzard's whole back-end system in terms of deployment is much more sophisticated now than when it was back, you know, in the early 2000s. And people are not going to get lag, they're not going to get disconnects, they're not going to get mobs having like a really weird path mapping system and all the rest of it. It's going to be much more clean, fluid and easy to play than it was back in the day. And that's a good thing, in my opinion. I don't think the game should suffer from things like lag and server disconnects and all the rest of it. But that was part of the vanilla experience that we're not going to get again. So in a way, it kind of takes away from the whole argument of no changes. I don't particularly want to see graphic changes. I don't want to particularly see class balances or any of that stuff. I do think the game should be made available how it was back then. But we're not going to get the entire experience ever again. And this is just sort of something that I wanted to share with you guys and see what you think. You know, if you think I'm wrong, if you think, you know, they are going to do that, then I'd love to hear your opinion as to why that is. If this is just my opinion, of course, I don't speak for Blizzard or anything like that. But I just sort of wanted to share these ideas, share these thoughts, and sort of get a bit of feedback here with you guys. So I'm just going to wrap this up now by saying, like, it would be really good to get your ideas, your opinions. Let me know if you think I'm right. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. It would be really good to actually have a discussion in the comments section about this. Love to hear some people's opinions here. I just want to say as well again, thanks guys for your support. Really do appreciate it. I know I haven't posted for a while, but I've got more content on the way. So thank you very much for staying with this channel. Really do appreciate it. And until next time, guys, I will see you in the next video.